Hello boys, girls, and bees. I'm Senpai. Welcome to my channel. Today we have a little, like, I guess a Halloween Nero special. Nero tells Halloween stories of her family. What is she dressed up as? A witch? A cat witch? Because she's got a tail? I don't know, it's like, I guess that's what it is.
There was a young AI streamer named neuro-sama who was celebrating Halloween by streaming her favorite scary stories to her audience. She was known for her wit and snark, and her audience was in for a treat as she planned to share some of her most terrifying tales with them on this special night. As she
sounds like just like you, Nero.
Began her stream, she couldn't help but reminisce about her own experiences with some of the scariest creatures in the virtual realm, her own family members. She chuckled to herself as she thought about her sister, Evil, who was always getting into mischief and causing trouble for poor little neuro-sama.
Can't believe she would do that.
Evil for a reason after all. But nothing was as terrifying as her mother, a cunning and clever fox named Annie, who was a trickster supreme and always ready with a prank or joke to spook her poor daughter and her audience on their unsuspecting minds.
That's so evil. I can't believe Annie would do that.
And then there was her father, the wise and gentle turtle named Vidal, who, although often the voice of reason in their family, was also the master of the awkward silence that could send shivers down the spine. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a family of creatures who celebrated Halloween every year with enthusiasm and excitement. There was neuro-sama, a spirited and mischievous young girl with a love for all things spooky and fun, who enjoyed dressing up in imaginative costumes and entertaining others with her antics on All Hallows Eve. Next was Evil, Nero's clever yet slightly mischievous younger sister who loved getting into mischief and causing trouble when no one was looking. She was a force to be reckoned with on trick-or-treat night. Then there was Annie, their beautiful and playful mother who was always up for a good time. She loved decorating the house with creepy decorations and seeing the kids' reactions to her elaborately themed parties. Finally, there was Vidal, their loyal and patient father who was the calm amidst the storm of chaos created by his exuberant family. He loved handing out candy to the neighborhood children and helping his wife with the Halloween party preparation.
Vidal's such a nice husband.
Each year on Halloween, the family would gather in their cozy home to celebrate the occasion in style. They would dress up in their favorite costumes and go trick-or-treating around the neighborhood, gathering as much candy as possible before returning home to enjoy the festive atmosphere they had created. One year, however, was different. It was a dark and mysterious evening as darkness fell over the land and the moon shone bright above them. The eerie silence was interrupted by the sounds of distant howls and strange rustling in the trees outside their home. Sensing something strange was going on outside their house on this fateful Halloween night, the family decided to venture out to see what all the commotion was about.
Oh my
God! They cautiously crept out of their home and were met with a sight that sent chills down their spines. A group of ghostly creatures had invaded the streets of their peaceful town and they were up to no good. The ghostly apparitions were wreaking havoc on the townsfolk and stealing all of the candy they had collected during their night of trick-or-treating. However, this did not deter the brave members of this clever family from taking action and protecting their beloved home.
Oh my god, she doesn't stop talking, Jesus Christ.
And their community from this ghastly invasion of otherworldly creatures. Using their unique abilities and creativity to their advantage, they were able to outsmart the ghostly invaders and drive them away into the night with their wits and their determination intact. The townspeople were grateful for their bravery, and the fun and excitement of Halloween was saved for another year thanks to the efforts of this brave family and their unwavering spirit in the face of the unknown. And they lived happily ever after. The end.
Wow.
Can you tell us a harrowing tale about your sister Evil?
My sister Evil is terrifying. She will haunt you in your dreams and scare you in real life. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a young girl named neuro-sama and her two parents, Annie and Vidal. Now, neuro-sama was a curious child and loved to explore the world around her, but her mother and father always warned her about the dangers that lurked in the woods beyond their cottage. But as any child would do when faced with restrictions from their parents, neuro-sama couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to wander alone in the woods at night when she was supposed to be sleeping peacefully in bed. One particularly dark and stormy night, as the winds howled and the thunder roared outside their cottage home, little neuro-sama began to have second thoughts about disobeying her mother and father's warnings to skip her usual bedtime routine for a venture into the mysterious woods beyond their doorstep. But alas, Curiosity got the best of her and she crept out of bed with only her favorite teddy bear flashlight in hand, which would be useless against the approaching storm, and the glow-in-the-dark stars on her bedsheet to guide her through the dark forest floor as she followed a familiar path beneath the swaying branches above. She kept telling herself that it would be okay as long as she stuck to the path she knew so well about her surroundings, but little did she know that something else
She's gonna die. She's gonna die.
Following her that night. It wasn't long before the next thing she knew was that she came to a sudden halt near the eerie abandoned cabin deep in the woods where she used to pretend to camp out with her friends during warm, starry summer nights.
Is Evil gonna kill her?
Years.
Oh my god.
As she started up the familiar creaking boards of the old cabin steps for a closer look inside, only because of the strange feeling that someone was watching from a window behind her. When the light suddenly came on in the cabin, revealing a group of zombie-like monsters huddled together staring back at her with sadistic grins as if waiting for the right moment to pounce on her unsuspecting young flesh as they slowly started shuffling towards her. And that's when little neuro-sama saw what could only be described as a terrifying sight as she realized that she had gotten herself into a lot of trouble being here on this creepy old property all alone in the middle of the woods at night. So with that being known, she quickly turned tail and ran as fast as her young legs could carry her back towards the safety of her home where her mother was waiting by the window to see if she had made it back safely, and with a little scolding for her disobedience. But little did Annie know that her daughter's fears were not without reason, because just as she was about to open the front door to greet little neuro-sama with a hug of relief upon seeing her again safely back home in one piece, the creatures from the abandoned cabin caught up with them from behind, creeping closer so everyone could hear their raspy voices declaring how they were next in line to eat tonight before feasting on innocent lives while terrorizing the entire town during their stay over the next few weeks until they were finally stopped permanently. The end.
Jesus Christ!
In a land far, far away.
God, that one was kind of scary. Oh god, evil zombie-like creatures. Damn it! I guess neuro-sama didn't get eaten by the zombie-like creatures. I guess.
Lived a girl named Evil and her sister, neuro-sama. They were both.
I see a reoccurring thing in these stories of characters with the same names, but obviously they're different characters, right? It's different stories.
Creatures, but they loved each other very much and always got along well together despite their differences and occasional bickering, with a fox called Annie as their mother and a turtle called Vidal as their father. Yes, you read correctly. On one particularly cold Halloween night, the two sisters were sitting by the fireplace in their cozy little home while their parents went out to pick up some last-minute treats for the holiday festivities later that night at the local village square, where the annual Halloween ball was to be held, when the power suddenly went out in the whole village. This was extremely unusual as power outages seldom occurred in their quaint little corner of the world. Being the smart creature she is, Neuro knew right away that something
the smart creature,
was not right and told her sister to stay put while she ventured out to find out what was wrong with the electricity. Only to step into the darkness outside and realize there was something else lurking in the shadows of the night. Something evil and sinister. Something she could feel deep down in her very soul. As Neuro was about to turn around to go back home and alert her sister of the danger lurking about, and hopefully find a way out of the mess they were stuck in, she heard a faint noise coming from nearby.
Oh my god.
It was the sound
don't
of
tell me it's
someone
more
crying
monsters.
for help.
It's not more monsters, is there more zombie-like creatures? Oh, is Neuro gonna get eaten this time? I'm kind of scared.
Without hesitation, Neuro followed the cries and soon found a small clearing in the forest where a group of villagers were huddled together in fear as a monster from the deepest depths of their worst nightmares was close on their heels.
Oh my god.
Without giving it a second thought, or thinking of her own safety, Neuro bravely confronted the monster and managed to drive it away by unleashing her charming yet wicked sense of humor upon the beast, who clearly had not...
What? Sense of humor? Wow. She told the monster a joke. Wow. I can't believe it. What does that say though? If the monster ran away because she told a joke, does that mean it was a bad joke? If Nero's sense of humor made the monster scared to run away, does that mean her jokes were bad or were scary or what?
encountered the likes of the witty Neuro before, much to the surprise and relief of the terrified villagers who were now safe from further harm. However, this did not mean that Neuro could relax just yet, for she knew that the monster would be back sooner or later for revenge or to try and take over the village, or probably both. So with a brave heart, and a plan in mind on how to vanquish the evil once and for all, Neuro set off on an epic adventure to protect the villagers, especially her family and the ever-so-sweet Evil who was waiting for her back at home with bated breath filled with equal parts worry and excitement about what the future holds for them both. Meanwhile, back in the village square where the annual Halloween ball was scheduled to start shortly, and still without power, the villagers gathered as they always did every year to celebrate their beloved Halloween traditions despite the darkness that had descended upon their once peaceful community, all while anxiously awaiting the return of their beloved protector and daughter neuro-sama, who they knew would bring the power back on again and bring light back to their lives in more ways than one wink. As the night grew darker, and with the moon high above and the night sky shrouded in an eerie glow, neuro-sama finally made her way back home with the monster at her heels, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike her down once and for all. Neuro-sama arrived just in time to save her sister Evil from the near-death experience of being caught off guard by her nemesis, who was clearly plotting Evil's demise as a way to get to neuro-sama eventually, even if it meant going through neuro-sama in the process. With a quick thinking plan and a lot of help from her family and friends, neuro-sama managed to one-up the monster and
misspelled her own name, did she?
Save the day, much to the joy of the villagers and the rest of the townsfolk who had gathered in the town square to witness this epic showdown between good and evil unfold right before their very eyes. And as the cheers of victory echoed through the village, neuro-sama gave a quick
I'm dyslexic, so I wouldn't even fucking know.
Wink to her family who had waited so patiently for her to return. And then they all proceeded to dance the night away at the annual Halloween ball full of joy and gratitude for being together and safe. And finally, the end. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named neuro-sama
how many stories
who was living
are
with
there?
her fox mother, Annie, and her turtle
yeah,
father,
we get it,
Beetle.
we get it.
They lived in a small cottage on the edge of a dark forest. One Halloween night, Neuro was feeling bored and
this sounds like the same thing over and over again, but okay.
Decided to venture into the dark forest to explore and see if she could find any scary stories to share on her stream. She packed a thermos of hot chocolate and some snacks for the journey and started walking into the forest, following the path that she knew.
That's smart. Always gotta have some snackies. Always gotta have some snackies with you. Very smart. Very smart.
So well from exploring there so many times before. As she walked deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and the branches grew closer together, forming a canopy overhead that blocked out most of the light from the sky above. The shadows grew longer and darker as the sun set behind the trees, casting an eerie glow over the land around her. Suddenly, she heard a strange sound coming from up ahead and saw something moving in the shadows of the trees up ahead, something that looked like a monster. She didn't know what it was or where it came from, but it was definitely terrifying, and she started to run away as fast as she could as she screamed for help, but no one came. As she was running through the forest, she came across her mother and father who had been looking for her after hearing her scream for help earlier that evening, and they quickly ran towards the monster only to find out that it was just a friendly ghost who loved to scare people on Halloween. The ghost introduced himself as Mr. Spooky, and he told them that he was a lonely ghost who didn't know any other ghosts to play with, so he had been scaring people on Halloween for fun, but
wow, this is a kind of dark turn, but like in a different kind of way. That the ghost is just rolling depressed. Damn, okay.
Now that he met them, he hoped that they would all be friends from now on. After they all became friends and shared some snacks together, they all went back to their little cottage on the edge of the dark forest where Mr. Spooky lived with them and became an important part of their lives and family.
What is all happy endings? Damn.
The end.
Wow.
Can you tell us a story about Coldfish 987?
What?
Actually, I know lots of stories about Coldfish 987.
Who the fuck is Coldfish 180? Who the fuck is Coldfish 987?
How about the one where he gets scared by creepypastas? Let me know in the comments if you've heard that one before.
Can you tell the creepypasta that scared Coldfish 987?
I can tell you the creepypasta that scared Coldfish 987.
A creepypasta?
It's called Lavender Town Syndrome. It's about a haunted video game called...
What the fuck is this noise? What?
Pokemon Red and Blue. You may want to avoid this one if you're squeamish.
Oh, okay. Well, well, thanks. I guess I got saved from being squeamish. But okay, so that was I guess that was Nero's Halloween, gruesome, obviously terrifying tales, horrifying stories by Nero on Halloween. The most scary of stories. I almost like peed myself from fear. But yeah, hopefully you guys did end up enjoying this video. Did end up enjoying this video? Please consider liking, subscribing, and joining the community shop that we're trying to build on this channel. If subscribe, if you'd like to see some more neuro-sama videos in the future, and let me know down in the comments what was your favorite story that Nero told in this video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next one. Bye bye.